Hey YouTube, how are we doing? I'm Thomas and welcome back to my channel. Yesterday I fitted my quadlock wireless weatherproof phone charger mount, and today I am back to fit the electric adapter, the waterproof 12 volt to USB Smart Adapter. Now I am no electrician, so if I can do this, you can too. Let's see what we got to be getting into. So I'll be fitting mine today to my Honda CB125F, but the process will be very similar for other bikes. Just some screws and stuff will be in different places, but the same concept applies. So first of all, what I need to do, I need to gain access to the battery on my bike, which I believe on the 125F is in here somewhere behind this. So I need to get rid of that, which first involves removing this seat, which is done by clicking this button. Well, just turn that in there. There you go, little pop, and then we just slide the seat backwards and off. All good. So that will expose the underbelly. So what we got here looks like an air box, little tool pouch and all that kind of stuff, but we still can't gain access to this, so I need to undo some screws. So yeah, we better get on with that. So I've had a good look over the bike, and there's 3 screws which I can see. One of which has been on the top just here, another one just here, but the plastic on mine is actually broken, so I don't need to undo that one. And the third one is this bad boy right here, just by the kickstand. So I'm going to go ahead and get those off and see what other challenges I come up against. Okay, so now we've undone this top bolt just here, and that one there is broken, so don't need to worry about that. We've also undone this one, but it is evident that this is still not popping off. So on further inspection, just inside there where you won't be able to see, there's like some rubber bungs that push into some holes in the frame itself. So basically I need to go along and pop those out. The only other thing I found is this contraption down here. I will get my torch here so you can see that properly. But that's more difficult to get out. I have done one of those before on something, I can't remember what. Anyway, there's a technique to getting these out, so I will get the lights so you can see what I'm doing, and hopefully that will help you. Okay, so here we are just at the back end of the bike, just to give you an overview of whereabouts we are. There's a little pin just here, and it's got a centre push. So what a lot of people try and do is just try and pull these out. But that's never going to work. What you have to do is you have to push in the centre of the pin, and that will loosen it off so it's smaller and can get out through the gap. So you can see hopefully that the centre is now pushed in, and now you should be able to just pull it out. Let's get hold of that. In fact, get your hand behind it and pull it out, because it's all loose now. And there should be 2 pieces. So you've got a little pin and the centre bit, and I will try and fashion that back in such a way that you can see what's happened there. So that bit is the outside, this bit goes through the middle, and basically when you push and pull that in there, it tightens up this bolt here basically, and holds the fairing on. So that is how it would be when the fairing is held on at its widest position. So I'm going to put this somewhere safe, and hopefully we can get the rest of this off now. Right, so those bits are now all loosened off, and what we really need to do is just start pulling it and see what happens. I can see there's a bung just inside here, so if you pull it carefully, okay, that's now pretty loose, which is all good. The next one I can see is down the bottom, so that's come off nicely, and there must be one at the front, which I don't want to snap because that'll be the weakest part of this plastic. So I'm going to lever it off gradually. Job's a good one. Okay, so this adapter comes as 2 pieces other than the zip ties. So basically this is the part that connects onto the battery, and it's got like a little USB socket just here, and basically what that will do is connect onto this jobby here, which is the smart piece of this device, and this basically will stop your battery getting drained on your bike when it drops below 12.5 volts, I think it is. So basically I need to connect this one onto the terminals onto the battery. Sorry, that's the strap onto the battery, negative and positive, and then I need to sort of figure out where it's going to go inside the bike so it's not in the way and I can still get my seat on. So let's get this clamped up and figure it out the best way of routing it. Just to fact check what I've just told you, this part here, actually next to the terminal spades there, is actually a 3 amp fuse, just like a blade fuse, which pops in and out of there. So that is not the USB socket that it connects into. This is actually the end that connects into the smart piece. So you can see it's just got the little terminal exposed just there. So let's find a way of routing this so it doesn't foul anything. Okay, so that was a little bit fiddly, getting this threaded up through here and then coming back out underneath this little clamp here, just basically because I've got fat fingers. But this is plenty of space really, so I can connect these onto the spade terminal and tuck this fuse, so it'll be just around here, but still easy to access should I need it, but tucked out of the way so it's not getting in the way of anything. And then we still got plenty of space and room with a wire just here, and plenty of length, so I can position the smart part anywhere under this seat that should be required space wise, because I do need to be able to get my seat back on. So let's get these terminals connected onto this battery. Okay, worth pointing out, before I get messing about with these battery terminals, it's important to make sure that the ignition of your bike is turned off. So just take your keys out, so there's no risk of the battery becoming live at any time. I don't really know what I'm talking about, obviously being not an electrician, but basically just make sure your ignition's not on your bike. Right, let's get these off. Should always start with the negative terminal apparently when disconnecting this kind of thing. That had to fall on the floor, didn't it? Found it. Right, let's try again. I want this to be sort of tucked so I can still sort of get it underneath this protective sheath just here. So I'm going to try and clamp it on just like this. It's going to have to go to the side a little bit because it's a bit bulky. So let's... it'll have to come out this side because that's the only space where there is some space to the side of it. So that will be perfect, just like that. Right, let's hope I can do this without dropping it again. That sounds more positive. So as you can see, I've got this this negative terminal screwed onto here, and the positive one just poking out the side here. We've got this little fuse here which we need to tuck out of the way, but I've fitted it in such a way that I can tuck this inside here and it won't get in the way of anything, and it's easy to change the fuse should I need to. So now I need to get on to routing this and fitting the smart adapter. So we're left with this, which is the smart piece. We've got an on switch, an auto switch and an off switch there. They recommend that you start by fitting this with it on the off position, which is in the middle. So make sure it's just in the off position before you get started. This is the end that connects onto the lead that we've just connected to the battery. So I'm going to squeeze that onto there, and then I need to figure out where this is going to fit under the seat so it is out of the way and I can still get my seat on. Okay, so I've got that all connected now. How many times have I said okay or something like that in this video? So that's all connected, and basically with the mount part, this is not come with this kit, but this comes with the wireless charger head. You get 3 USB cables. You get a straight short version. This is USB-C, which goes into the wireless adapter. You get a short straight one. You get a long one with a straight connector on the end, and you also get a long one with a right angle connector on the end. Now when you're using this, do make sure you use one of these cables, because I don't know if you can see on there, they've got these little rubber grooves on there which will act as water guards to stop the actual water getting underneath and into the device. So make sure you use one of these. I'm going to use one of these longer ones because the short one won't be long enough, and I'm going to figure out the best way to route that from the charger to the back of the bike under the seat here before I figure out where all that's going, because it's no good fitting that if then I can't get this to work. So that's going to happen first. Let's get on with it. So we're now at the front of the bike, and you can just see at the back of the charging unit, you've got this little socket just here. This is where the cable's going to pop in, and I then need to reroute it from there somehow through all of this fairing and under here, keeping it away from the motor, of course, because that will get hot, and somehow ending up in the back area just there. So I'm going to have a little delve around and see what's going to be the best course of action there. I might have to remove this and see if I can get this side fairing off via this bolt here. So let's see what happens there. There's another bolt just here as well. So let's get to it and I'll see what's behind there. I'll be honest with you, I've been having a little bit of a battle with this front fairing just here. I couldn't figure out how to get it off. You've got a couple of bolts at the front and one just down here, and I could not get the blooming thing off. So I've had a look on YouTube, as you do, to see if there's a tutorial or anyone knows how to get that off, and there's nothing. So I'm going to make another little video about how to get that blooming thing off, having now figured it out for myself. But yeah, it turns out I don't actually need to even take that off to route the cable where I need it to go, because I figured out a way of doing it without it. So I'm going to get on with that now, because I've wasted enough time on that. Right, I can't actually be bothered to make that video, one, because I'm going to run out of time, as I often do. But I'll have a quick run through. You've got two bolts at the front here. You've got a Phillips head screwdriver hole, screw there. You've also got here a flathead screw, just to give you an idea of a bit of context where that is. Flathead, Phillips head screwdriver. You've also got a 10mm socket just there, so you need a 10mm socket for that one. And the last piece which I was struggling with was there's something holding this top bit on, and it turns out there's actually a rubber mount on a metal bracket just behind there. So once you've disconnected all these other three and a couple at the front and this one just here, what you really need to do is just give this a good old whack whilst holding on to the other end so you don't drop it on the floor. But that is how you get that off. Okay, so what I need to do is just unravel this longer straight connector, because that's going to best fit on my device here. So just once that's all untangled, I'm going to go ahead and plug this into the bottom, pushing it firmly all the way in, because it's got those little rubber sort of gripper bits on there, which will create a nice seal from any water. So give it a good old push in there. Make sure it's nicely home. Excellent. Now I just need to route this through the front of the bike just here. So I can go next to the fuel tank and back under towards the front of the rear seat. So the best way for me to do this is to make this so that it basically goes down towards the front of the frame, which is not very easy to show you, to be honest with you. So I'm just going to get on and do that. If you poke it up just underneath here, what I did beforehand was see if I can make my two fingers touch by pushing them in either end, and they do, so I can definitely get through there. So I know that the cable will go through there as well. Excellent, and here it comes out the other side. In fact, I didn't even need to do that because there's nothing holding that in there. Right, so that's where I want it, and I just need to poke it through this hole in front of the seat so it's not flapping around at the side. So let's do that now. And you can see it's just popping out underneath this the seat rest bracket now, so that's exactly where I want it. Okay, and I'm just also making sure that none of it, the cable, is resting anywhere near the engine cylinder head, because that will be getting very hot. Oh, good. So now I've routed that, I'm basically left with this USB cable, which is connected to the actual charger itself, and this end as well, which is like a mangle at the moment of wires for the smart device here that stops my battery draining when I'm not using the bike. So basically this is the connector on the smart device, and this is the connector at the front, and these two need to meet. Now there is a plastic bung which I need to put over there to make sure it's all watertight, so I'm going to bung that on there now. So I've got the little bung just here. This comes with the 12 volt device rather than the head charging device. And another reason why you should use the supplied USB cable is because this will be designed to fit smoothly and nice and snug to stop any water getting in. So I'm just going to put this on there. I believe it just slides in just like so. Probably put it all the way on. Okay, and then butt it up as far as it will go without forcing it. Okay, and as you can see, it hopefully you can see that it's made a nice seal just there. And when I connect this, we should have a nice waterproof seal. So let's bung that on there. Look at that. No water ingress for you. Right, now I need to reroute this so it's not a bird's nest, and then see if I can get the seat pad back on. Right, so I fashioned this up using some zip ties and whatnot, and basically the takeaway parts here, ignore the mess. I mean, it doesn't look professional because I'm not a professional, but I can gain access to this switch just here so I can turn it on and off. If I'm not going to use the bike for some time, I'll make sure it's switched off, so it definitely won't drain the battery, even though it won't anyway. And also I wanted to keep this easily accessible because under here, of course, is a USB socket, so I can use that to charge other USB things should I need to. Probably won't have to, but if you do need to, it's handy to have access to that. Now, I've been very careful not to keep anything out of the way of the air box. I think that's the air filter suction hose just there, so keep it free of that. And also make sure there's nothing all up here so that you can get the seat back on when you're finished. So I'm going to bung the seat back on and hope it goes on. Before I put the seat on, I'm making sure that I've put the switch device onto the auto setting. So once the battery voltage drops below 12.5 volts, it will turn off it automatically. So it won't drain the battery. So obviously before you put the seat cover on, don't forget to adjust it and switch it so it's not off. Otherwise it definitely won't work. So let's get this seat on. Look at that. All that's left to do now is to put the side panel back on the bike, and then we can test it and see if it works. So I'm going to get on with that now. I need to do this with the seat off, of course, because I need to gain access to the bolt. So off comes the seat again. Okay, so I'm now sat on the bike and I'm just about to turn it on and see if it jumps into action. It should do automatically when I, probably when I start the engine, because that's when the voltage will go above 12.5. So nothing yet when I just put the ignition on, but if I start the engine, nothing. Oh, there you go. So it has jumped into life, and you can see there it is charging. Excellent. Brilliant. And I've never seen this snazzy snazzy clock before. So even if you don't use your sat nav, you can display a cool retro clock on your bike. Right, well that was a massive result. It works properly. I've also tested it. It does stay charging for about 20 or 30 seconds after you turn the engine off, and then once the voltage drops below 12.5 volts again, it just turns off and it stops it draining the battery. I've probably mentioned that a few times. Anyway, I hope you found this useful. It's been a bit of a mash-up video, this one, because it's really hard to show you what you're doing, to be honest. But anyway, hope you've taken something from this. If you have, then don't forget to give us a like, comment below, and also don't forget to subscribe if you've got this far and you haven't already. If you were wondering about the quad lock mount which I fitted on the bike, if you have a look at my previous video, you'll see a card just on the screen as well here. It will link you to fitting that as well onto your bike and getting it in a good riding position. So thanks for watching, and I will be out on my bike again soon.
Catch you later.